Whoa, what is up, everybody? Welcome back. Another week, another rip with Coach Rick and Coach Tut. We are hacking lips and dropping tips. Coach, so you got the jersey on. What's up?
Opening day of the NHL. Flyers playing the Pens. Tied up right now, 2-2. Just got to support. Got my man, for all you old heads out there, John LeClair jersey on. I wish I could stand up and turn around, but I can't because I'm balancing my computer on my lap currently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I someday we need
for the record, not packing lips. Coach Rick, not packing lips. He has
taken a rip of anything. I'll do my weekly. I got Black Label today. So I'll just keep the traditions alive since you're ruining them all. That's nice. That's feeling good.
I'm jealous. I need to get myself. That's what I'll do for next week. I'll get myself a nice bottle. Give me a recommendation.
Long Branch. I really like the Long Branch.
I think I'm going to put together a compilation at the end of this of you saying, man, I really like the Long Branch. Angel's Envy. I think it's my new favorite.
It's not Angel's Envy, though.
Or whatever. Fuck
Long Branch is its own. I know. I say it every week. That's my go-to. I'll pack lips and drop some tips. Dude, let's start fresh with the TikTok. Why don't you pull it up and watch the one that I sent you? Some would say that it's gas. It's a mind fuck, Rick. I'm just warning you. And pull.
Hey, I don't want to alarm anybody, but that movie, I Am Legend, that took place in 2021, and that whole zombie outbreak shit was because of a failed vaccine. Just saying. Have a good night.
Rick.
Hey, I actually heard that. Somebody told me that the other day that it was taking place in 20. That's fucking wild.
Dude,
that's crazy.
I'm fucking telling you, man. Think about it. It's 2021. We're getting a rushed new vaccine out there.
I don't know, man. It's tough to say. You don't want to believe those kind of things, those conspiracy things. But how about like The Simpsons? Did you see The Simpsons?
They call everything, dude. I'm starting to think they make them after it happens.
How?
I don't know.
They had the guy in the fucking suit, like the animal head guy from when they charged the Capitol, the guy with the headdress on, like the bear headdress, whatever that was.
Did they really?
They had an episode with him in it.
I just saw the picture. Pull up the one I just sent you, though. That's the one I really want to get into. It's a nice one. Jordan Peterson, of course. Got me thinking a lot with the man card shit we got on. Shout out new shirts.
Really need to hear this more, I think, is that you should be a monster. Because everyone says, well, you should be harmless, virtuous. You shouldn't do anyone any harm. You should sheath your competitive instinct. You shouldn't try to win. You don't want to be too aggressive. You don't want to be too assertive. You want to take a back seat and all of that. It's like, no. Wrong. You should be a monster, an absolute monster, and then you should learn how to control it.
Do you know the expression, it's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war?
Right, exactly. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
And that's exactly right. And so when I tell young men that, they think, well, lots of them are competitive. They're low in agreeableness, because that's part of being competitive temperamentally. So is there something wrong with being competitive? There's nothing wrong with it. There's something wrong with cheating. There's something wrong with being a tyrant. There's something wrong with winning unfairly. All of those things are bad. But you don't want people to win? What's the difference between trying to win and striving? You want to eradicate striving?
What's the uncomfortable feeling that people...
Dude, first off, that's some motivating shit right there. Dude. Also, who the fuck says, oh, let's take a back seat, this, that, and the other? I don't know if I've ever been told that.
A lot of people nowadays.
Oh, you should take a back seat. You should not try to... I've heard the whole, let's try to not be competitive thing, which is ridiculous. I think the most important thing on that, the best thing he said was, you have to be able to control it. You can't cheat. You can't try to, treat people badly, whatever it is, but you got to be competitive and try to be the best person you can be or whatever, but also be able to control that competitiveness.
Dude, I just think when they talk, people are like, what do you train for life for? What do you need all these guns for? What do you need to do this for? What are you preparing for this for? Why do you live so whatever? And he's simple. It's like better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener during a war.
Oh,
Yeah. Fucking. I was like,
I've never heard that before.
me either.
But when he said it, I was like, that's so true.
It's so true. Wouldn't you rather have it in your back pocket? Just whatever you need. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, be prepared and not have to use it, but be calm and know when to use it rather
And
than
also
going to something, just not be prepared for it.
too, if you think about it, a warrior going into a war, like if you're prepared to go into a war, you're probably prepared to do pretty much anything else in life if life comes at you, right? So if you're a warrior in a garden, like you're not going to freak out that much about anything because you're prepared to go into war. Where if you're a gardener going into a war, you're going to be fucked. Like you're freaking out about you're not going to be very successful in high stress situations. So having a warrior mindset doesn't just mean being able to, attack and be aggressive and all that stuff. It's also the same concept of being able to control that and channel it in the right direction.
It's like saying, and that's what Ashley started saying too when she was asking me why I was getting all these guns, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, I'd rather have them and not need them than need them and not have them. It's the same concept really in everything. I'd rather have the strength to fucking pick a car up off you and not need it than when I need it and I can't fucking change the spare. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's just so many things that it's better to have, better to have more tools in your toolbox. You know what I'm saying? That you never have to use than really need the one and just not have it.
Yeah. And it's Mark Bell talks about that. Strength is never a weakness and weakness is never a strength. Like when is being weak in anything a positive?
They say you can never be, what did they say? There's three things. You can never be overeducated or overdressed.
True.
Yeah.
It's
always better, if you're like, oh, I don't know what this event is. Well, rather err on the side of fucking dressing really nice than look like the dude going to sweats to a fucking formal. It's also, you can never have too much education. You just got to pick and choose when you use it.
Yeah. That's true. But that's a fucking badass quote. I might.
Jordan Peterson constantly dropping fucking heat.
I know. He's he's just came on with Matthew McConaughey.
Really?
Yeah, he has one with I didn't watch the whole thing, but I watched part of it, and he talks about the book, you know what I mean? And Matthew McConaughey fucking just put himself in the desert for weeks and read all of these journals that he wrote throughout his life. He started journaling since he was 14 years old. And he said, once I turned 50, he's like, I was always scared. I kept him in this chest. It's like, I was always scared to look back at him. Like, I was like, oh, I'll make time for it. I'll do it, one day, and I never did. And he's like, something clicked where I was like, you know what? I'm going to go back and read them. And he went back, put himself in the desert by himself, no electricity, no phone, no nothing, and just read all of his journals throughout his life and created his own biography. Yeah.
McConaughey did that?
What's that? That's the book, The Green Lights.
My brother bought me that. I haven't read it yet.
Yeah, that's how he created that book.
No. All right, I'm fucking starting it tonight.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I got to finish it. I haven't finished the whole thing, but
B-Tut was that one night you and I were on here. B-Tut read like 100 pages laying over there. He's like, it's so good. I could give less than a shit about what you and Rick are doing because this book is fucking awesome.
Yeah, he I can't believe that he started, like, that's pretty cool that he started journaling at 14. Like, think about if you did that. You know what I mean? Like, kind of kick yourself, but like, imagine if you wrote something down every single day of like your experience, what you went through that day, what you learned, like from 14. Think about all the shit you go through from 14 till now.
No, dude, that'd be so sick to look back on and like look at your mindset of shit. That's what I think. I mean, I do think documenting shit's very important. I do like the daily task thing. That's it. But a lot of those things, even looking, you have to know that you're destined for something when you do that shit. Cause like, you're gonna have to know that you need it at some point, right? Like, there's literally Earl Woods was paying people to follow him and Tiger around golfing when Tiger was like 5, right? Yeah. They just came out with a 2-part documentary on Tiger. There's home videos. There's videos of them doing so much shit that you don't even have now when you have access to this in your hand. But these dudes had the big thing on their shoulder and shit back then. Like, you're going to need that at some point in order to start getting those at that age. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, it's funny you say that because he said, I don't know what made him start it. He didn't really get into that. I mean, he probably does later on or in the book he talks about it. But he said that like that's why he kept him and like kept doing it was he's like, oh, you know, my wife will be able to make money off it someday. Like that was the initial thought, was like, you know, maybe there'll be something cool in there eventually that somebody will like to read about. But then he's like, you know, there's got to be more to it. He's like, I've documented my entire life this whole time, and I've never thought about going back. He's like, I've always thought about moving forward. I've always like, you know, whatever happens, I'm moving forward. I'm never looking back. Like whatever happened. I'm always trying to move forward into new adventures, new experiences, whatever. And he's like, now the age I'm at, he's like, I want to learn from what I did before. And he's like, I kind of found out I was an arrogant bastard for a large portion of my life.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
So the confidence. I talk about that all the time. I need it. You got to know you're about to fucking do something. I'm fucking reading that. I'm juiced up for that.
Green lights. I'll tell you what, JG talks about it on his thing.
Yeah.
On his brain food LinkedIn. It's pretty good.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, how you guys doing over there? I know I feel bad I can't help you guys out, but with all the Leo shirts, man.
We fucking ran out of shipping bags. I had to rush order something today to get a couple hundred more. And we ran out, which is a good problem to have. Put in another order for more shirts. Got all the other pre-order stuff in. Got the full order of the whole new line that's coming. You saw the fill your fucking sleeve shirts.
The sand color is flames, especially with the little logo on the side. Fire.
Some would say it's gas.
No caps.
0 caps. Emerson's crying upstairs. Yeah, it's a lot. It sucks because everything's sitting on a table right now, half the orders, because we ran out of bags. Did not see that coming. But it's good. It's love to see the amount of support, especially from non-police officers. How many people support the Blue Line and police officers that, you know, I think you never openly go out of your way to say it on a day-to-day. You know, police officers, they don't get enough thank yous, you know? Yeah. So I think it's, I try to share with my friends or police officers, like show them how many people we're supporting, because I think it's important. I guess
I mean, I think, especially now, like it's such a weird time to be a police officer, and it's very tough. But if you talk to one, and I said this on my post, like one of my best friends just became a state police officer, and some of the stories that they tell you, it's like you see like the public ones or whatever, but some of the shit that they go through on a daily basis is fucking nuts.
And it's weird because when you see them on there, you don't have a personal connection to the ones you see on TV. So you think they're just machines. Yeah. And when it happens to your boy, you're like, how the fuck did he deal with that? Like, that's crazy.
I'll tell you what, I'll tell you a fucked up story right now. I think it's good, but it's a little graphic. So if you're not into it, fucking skip through this. But he said, I've been writing on programs and like lifting programs. He's like, yo, I think your lifting programs working. This is kind of fucked, right? It's kind of fucked, but I'm gonna say it anyway. He's like, yeah, I do CPR on this guy. He was already dead, but the family was there, so you know we wanted to just try and revive him. But he was dead when we got there, and just went right through his sternum, went right through his ribs, right? And like, you know, that's a fucked up story. That's a fucked up situation. Like nobody wants to be put in that situation, but he's so desensitized to it that like, you know, he sees that shit on a daily basis. I was like, holy shit, dude. I don't know if I should be like concerned or are you like trying to make a joke? He's like, it was just, you know, it's kind of like making it funny, you know, like obviously the poor guy is dead, you know, like, you know, we're not making fun of the guy, but it's like, he's so desensitized to situations like that, you know, he sees that so often. It's crazy.
I think it's so important. And it is because from both sides, left and right, police officers, they're viewed as a number. They're viewed, like I said, as machines. They're viewed as an agenda pushing bodies, right? People tend to forget that they're humans. They have a wife to go home to. They have a mother. They have brothers. You know what I'm saying? So they group it as a whole, and they think that they don't take their badge and uniform off and go home and have to think about what happened. Think about what you said. Think about the shit that they had to go through. It's a fucking challenging thing. I think it's a challenging thing to even relate or empathize with until you go through it. Like, you can't. And I know some of my friends who they'll tell me, like, in passing casually, you know, they had to draw their weapon. And I'm like, when I'm sitting with you at the back of my house having a beer, you don't see that. And it's not a big deal to them anymore because it happens so often. And they're going through so much shit, you know,
Yeah.
and it's like and
I mean, you know, when you think of a cop, you think of like somebody who you get pulled over by and you get a speeding ticket.
we're all guilty of it. I'm the same way when I get pulled over by a police officer. That's not
motherfucker, you
this
know,
fucking guy. Yeah.
sucker. Yeah. But you know, that's like a 30-second of his day, you know, like who knows, or hers day.
He wants to pull you over less than you. He wants to be there just as little as you want to be there.
I'll tell you what, the whole situation that's going on almost is giving me more respect. Like, I don't want to be a dick now. Like, I get less angry. I'm like, fuck, I was definitely going too fast.
Way more, dude. Like, way more. You know, like, I have so much more respect now, and seeing the way that they handle it too, because none of them will really go out of their way and ask for your appreciation or ask for a thank you, or they just go to their job and they take it off. You know, they get home and they wash their hands with it and move on to the next. You know,
Yeah. It's interesting. Hopefully, I'll tell you what, I'd like to start training some cops because one, a lot of them like to train, you know, which I think also helps. Why I think they liked the gesture, the search so much. But that'd be a fun job. I know Matt Wenning, he does a lot of like police and fire stuff. That'd be a cool.
he does though. Yeah, a whole fire department. Well, I know for us as a team, it was like a unanimous. You know, we wanted to do something, and it was like give back right away. You know, to those guys. You know, dude, I'll tell you what though. Not to switch gears too fast because we're short on time tonight. Bro, I fucking lost a pound this week, stuffing my face to the point of almost throwing up every night. How is that humanly possible?
Yeah. It's the reverse dieting, man. It's the idea that your body had actually been craving calories this whole time, and you finally satisfied it, and it's using it in the way that you should. It's showing up in your lifts, for Christ's sake. I mean,
yeah, I feel really good. I had a question here on the live. What do you think when you see cops abusing the system? I think, like anything, you're going to have, there's bad apples in every bunch. You know, you're going to have people that do it. There's bad Democrats, there's bad Republicans, there's bad police officers, there's bad firefighters, there's bad accountants, there's bad personal trainers. You can't group the whole by the actions of one or two or a handful. It's a small percentage, you know, of anything. I think.
yeah, I think that's just
And even a small amount of interactions.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know statistics on it. I don't know anything like that, but any
Kick indoors and fuck whores. Let's fucking go.
if the entire system was taking advantage of people, we'd live a completely different society. Like, society would be very, very different. You know what I mean?
Pete said, why are we calling out accountants? I was talking
It's
about
true,
you
like,
about being the bad
imagine,
apple.
like,
Pete.
personal trainer, you have a personal trainer that doesn't get you any healthier or doesn't get you any more fit, and you paying them whatever it is. Like, it's the same concept. A doctor, you know, fucking, you know, there's crooked doctors out there that you just go be like, hey, I need one prescription for Xanax. All right, sure. I want a prescription for Percocets. All right, sure. You know, they're just there to get the quota. Like, there's bad people in everything. You just got to sift through them and find the right ones.
Yeah.
And if you treat them correctly, you treat them with respect, like 99.999% of the time, you're going to get treated with respect back.
Yeah.
You know, that's what they're looking for. They're like, they don't want, fuck, another goddamn dickhead I got to deal with on the side of the road.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
If they deal with enough dickheads, don't be another one.
Yeah. It's, like you said, there's, if everything was inherently bad, it would be a completely different society. People also have to understand that they're like the last line of defense between us and a complete anarchy. You know?
Yeah, I think anybody who's in any type of defense or any type of authority position, you're going to have people that come off as a dickhead or people who come off as maybe, you know, using the system incorrectly, whatever. But I'd rather have a group of them and live in a relatively safe society than them not be able to do anything and just have complete chaos.
Fuck yeah. It's like that. People that say shit about the military. I'm like, are you fucking dude? That gets me so fucking mad. Like, I'm like, you ingrateful fuck. You're gonna fucking sit there and say the same shit about military that you are about the police officers. They're the only thing keeping fucking boats and missiles fucking from coming over here. So you can sit here and bitch. Like, oh, it gets me fucking juiced up sometimes.
Yeah, I think it's not looking at things through a macro lens, right? If you look at it in terms of, now we're really getting off the topic here, but fuck it. Like if you look at it in the timeline of things, like America in and of itself, the country has gotten progressively better ever since its inception. Like the generation now lives a better life than the generation before them, and the generation before them, and the generation before them. We've only progressively gotten better since the time America has started. The small window that you're looking through now, especially in today's world, there's not a lot of shit that's going bad. So we're trying to, in my opinion, I think we're trying to find things that are bad and exploiting them,
100% accurate.
Like we didn't go through World War II. Like if we went through World War II, we might have a different outlook on things. Like if we went through the Civil War, we might have a different outlook on things. If we went through the Great Depression, like, your $12 job, a $12 an hour job might not be that bad. You might work a little harder at everything if you didn't have any.
There's so many bailouts, and you're right. Like you're trying to nitpick little things, right? So people even they'll get upset about how much, even taking with the police officers and military, how much money, some police officers make. And why is that your bit? Why, if that bothers you, go become a police officer and make that money, right? If you have an issue with the way that things are structured in anything, if you don't like it, or you think they do too much or overcompensate or whatever, then go do that. You're just sitting there bitching about it because you haven't done anything, and you can't find any other issues, that you're just, like you said, pulling shit out of fucking nowhere. So, and it's mainstreamed now because of social media.
Yeah.
Which
life, for a lot of people, life is so good that they're trying to find adversity to face themselves.
I think that the social media, there's so much good can come from it. And it's,
oh my God, I'll tell you what, like in terms of, I learn a lot from social media.
I learned so much.
If you follow the right people, you can learn so much about whatever your craft is. Like literally whatever your craft is. If you're a fucking cabinet maker, you can learn how to make fucking cabinets on Instagram, on YouTube, on Twitter. Like you can learn whatever you want, but you can also get steered in weird directions and fall down wild rabbit holes and start believing shit that you wouldn't normally believe in,
And you're never, it's different mindset people. So you're never, just by having that outlet, you're never going to be able to get rid of it all. So you just have to deal with hopefully the positives outweigh the negatives. But before we end back into training stuff, I think it's super important. One of the reasons I'm doing this training nutrition thing, like I said last week, is to practice what I preach to people, but try something new that I haven't. Like you said earlier, you're like, dude, your body's never had this many calories. It's just thriving right now. And I can now take this. I'll see how it works. Obviously it's a 10-day window so far. It's been working great, for the 10 days. After 60, 90 days, I can now take the science behind it, learn more from Dave, and be like, all right, to my client, do this. Like this can work for you. You're plateaued. You're sitting in the body. You're probably under eating, or you can use this many calories, going to help here. I think it's very interesting to me because, like you said last week, that I was an embarrassingly fat fuck. I always underate because I was scared, and timing the right things. Dave yelled at me because I didn't have my Ignite yet, which is like a fast acting, carb and sugar for post workout. So I didn't get it yet. So I was just having some more carbs after. Right. And he's like, I'd rather you eat a fucking Pop-Tart after your workout and not fucking regular carbs, because it's not the same thing. Go get more sugar, blah. And I was like, oh shit. So the timing of things, certain types of food is super important.
It is. That can play a big role. I think the most important thing, though, obviously initially, is like getting whatever you're eating down first. Then once you have that down, working at timing, which is what you have. You have what you have. Now you can get into the intricacies of things and really start making a big difference.
Yeah. So it's funny that you say that, because like for the majority, and I think that's what like First Form did a good job. They have this the Ignite, like the post workout. It makes it simple for one of the things that's very time sensitive.
Yeah.
Not saying the anabolic window, but as your body's in that post workout, getting those types of nutrients in right after, not necessarily an anabolic window mindset, but the types of food that it needs, they made it very simple, right? So you don't really have to overthink it. I'm going to have a white bagel after instead of a whole wheat toast. It's just like, put this scoop in your protein and move on.
Yeah.
The rest of the day, your meals don't really matter when you eat them.
Yeah. It's that's a great point. It's like
accessibility is key if it's not your full-time job.
Yeah.
And as most people think, lifting and eating is not my fucking full-time job. Another topic for next week. But Coach, we were short tonight. I think we really wanted to hit on the blue line stuff, so I'm glad we spent a lot of time on that.
Yeah, that's good. And I think nobody really wants to listen to us for fucking any more than 20 minutes anyway. So
no, it's all the weekly rip.
Go
Thanks, Coach.
Flyers.
Love you, Coach.
Bye-bye.